All right, welcome back. A little bit of a hiatus, but the I'd rather nots reconvene. We have a brave soul who's volunteered to go for the extra point here today, doing the recap. The ante has been upped, folks, to one like successful like failed roll. You can choose whatever roll you want to succeed. Of course, not death saving. And also, like, I think it doesn't need to be said, but you can't just be like, I'm gonna convince this big bad guy to not do anything, and then fail the roll, and then be like, well, I'm succeeding now.
Right, within reason.
Within
has to be
reason.
possible. Yeah.
Still quite the prize. So without further ado, Mr. Tom.
Okay, so I am just reading what I wrote here. Give me a sec. Okay. So, last time, the party finalizes their plan for exposing the lies of the so-called priest Paul. On this day, several townsfolk are in the church in the morning, including Jeb's wife, who is talking to the priest. So Jeb is someone that I want to say Felix had been talking to. Is that right? Just the townsfolk.
Jeb is the drunk guy from the bar, but I
Yeah.
forget which one of us was leading
Okay.
that conversation.
Anyway, Jeb's wife is talking to the priest. Jara eavesdrops and hears Godiva, I think that's her name,
Yep.
say Jeb didn't return last night. So the night before the day this session is taking place. And Jara engages Paul, the priest, not our human, and convinces him to come out to the town square. When they arrive, Jara starts asking questions about the church's near apparent alignment with Vecna. So we kind of developed this theory that some of the like evil happenings that we experienced were possibly related to Vecna, and it seems like the church also has this connection. There's like an offering, if you will, that we participated in, and I think it was Jara kind of detected these evil Vecna aligned forces there. Okay. So now, having engaged Paul in the town square, he's defending himself against the accusations. So Therathari starts to believe that Paul is genuine and diffuses the situation. So the priest tells him of a meeting with the Upper Synod members the next day in the Grove, where he typically asks for aid for his town. The party plans on meeting Paul there, but first they look into the dark energy they felt in the church the prior day. So this is kind of why they accused Paul in the first place. Okay, so Paul brings them to his office. Felix searches it, finding letters from the most recent Turin inspection conducted by some entity called the Syndicate. So this inspection of the town the letters Felix found are of this previous inspection of the town. And Felix also finds some of Paul's personal items, but I didn't write down what any of those were. Okay, so the letters are written in Infernal, signed by Inspector Wyatt, and are dated 18 months ago. They report how necrotic energy had corrupted the matter around the town, is what I wrote. So, like, we saw that the riverbed was running dry and things like this. There's like corrupted soil. Apparently, similar energy was found in debris from the Island of Scales and the shores of Nezdrek. So, Priest Paul and the party set the Hollows as a rendezvous point in the Grove. So I guess that's a tavern or something. On the way, they plan to go to the monks at the Temple of Ayun, and I didn't write down why.
To return the evil scroll that we've been harboring.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Correct. Yeah, you can absolutely take that, and that like succeed any failed save will extend to the next session too.
Oh,
so,
damn.
So you
Let's
get
go.
2 sessions.
The only thing that I think you missed that might be worth noting is that Paul had a cursed necklace
Yes.
that was really, really powerful magic. It was like 8th level magic. And that was like how he was shielded from
Yes.
seeing the cursed energy or whatever.
Oh,
Church.
okay.
It was described to
sense.
you as a very modified version of tether. And instead of tethering to constitution, it was tethered to intelligence and filtering things out. The
So
origins.
Paul is definitely in the dark and not just pretending.
Yeah.
Well, now I think you dispelled it. Ajara rolled like a 27 with all the buffs.
Yeah, I got like fucking like 5. It was like everyone was like, all right, I'll give you the. It was like,
It's
I'll
like
give you my
12
bow
different
and my
buffs.
shield and my. Yeah.
And
Oh.
my axe.
Yeah, my
I-
axe and it.
I'm sorry, I not to interrupt, but I was looking through like Felix's inventory and stuff. Just remind me, what is the plan with Paul? We're meeting him at the Grove, right? We're like splitting up.
Yeah,
and then
so
meeting
I
him
was
there?
just. So, real quick, you guys can discuss your plan if you remember it. But I also wanted to shed some more light on what this meeting is and why you even agreed to go there. So, every month or so, the clergy members, not necessarily part of the synod, but eventually they trickle up. But there's a high bishop who overlooks or
Right.
oversees a section of the town, or not town, of the world.
Septon Sulan.
Yes. So Sulan is going to lead the meeting or be one of the leading members, and the lower clergy, which are just bishops, are going to be there as well. There's not going to be any high septons or anything like, or any of the synod members, but there is this like monthly clergy meeting where they discuss things, and I
So-
think, yeah, go on.
I also wrote in the margins near this sign-on meeting Petfer. I don't remember if he was included or if I was just kind of
Yeah, Paul
making
had.
that in the.
You would know this information, so that's why I'm telling you. You don't have to roll
Okay.
for it. Paul had told you that he has written letters that are supposed to be going all the way up to,
Okay.
because there's a right that you can invoke as a member of the clergy to get super pressing concerns
Okay.
raised, and none of them have been answered. And you guys went back speculating why, and it was decided the best course of action was to rendezvous at this meeting, I think one of you invisibly, and for Paul to try and suss out who or why these messages aren't making their way up, with the hopes of maybe uncovering some corruption.
Okay.
Right?
Was there in some part, and it may have flown over my head over the review. Was there at some point we discussed seeing if Tenley would have any level of pull with
Yes.
discussions of those individuals?
So there was plans of going to the king, because you guys have good relationship with King Gavinus, at least those from Arc 1. And that discussion, I think, was quelled or silenced because if there is corruption all the way to the synod, the king would be put in danger as well. And then Tenley came about with trying to figure out on the Turin side in the city if there's anything that she can do. I don't know yet if you've sent any messages, but the idea was maybe you send a message up and it comes back down during that meeting, if that makes sense. The hierarchy. One of the options you discussed.
Also, I'll be right back. I just gotta run upstairs.
Sure. So, I don't think we left anything else out. I mean, there was the identification of a bunch of magic items. One of
Yeah.
which was a cursed skull with a wish.
Oh shit.
But that wish is steeped in lots of strings.
Yeah, and that's not in my inventory, so
I believe.
I got nothing to do with that.
Yeah, I don't.
I think
don't
Iris
have,
has it.
I don't have any of.
Oh, the
magic
perfect
items.
character for that.
Yeah, I believe
She,
Iris.
no way that she'll make a bad decision with that.
I think the joke was Iris now contains that and the scroll.
Iris is a walking
Okay.
doomsday device.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Iris is
pretty
gonna
much.
like blow up.
She's like a darkness singularity, like a chaos singularity.
Yeah,
She's-
I don't remember any of the magic items being useful. So I don't think.
I
even
don't
think I wrote them down.
I don't think you got any of them because you had left the encounter. By
Yeah,
then.
because I got knocked the fuck out and dipped.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were blasted against a rock and you got a concussion.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
I,
I
just
remember that
dipped out.
specifically.
I don't think
Uh,
you guys had a second to like reconvene after meeting Paul and like discussing the fact that you just saw a wormling. But
I think we did because I have some notes on some of the magic items that we have.
you absolutely did. But I want to stress that you've never seen a dragon before, and an undead one in a random town is kind of concerning. So
Okay, this was a lore question that I don't remember if I asked. Is Iris familiar with dragons? Were they around
definitely,
back
yeah,
in
yeah,
her?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so she doesn't seem to be as she's probably not as phased by this. She's like, oh, a dragon, okay.
Yeah.
Are the rest? Is the rest of the party like 100% sure that that was a dragon?
I think I forget who rolled it, but in effect, yes.
Okay.
Wasn't me because all I remember is getting knocked the fuck out.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll pick up. You guys just left the church. I guess I'll go to that thing. Sec.
I'm going through this character sheet trying to remember how to play an artificer. It's been a while.
I know. I'm like, I have this item. I'm like, what the hell is this?
This
What?
isn't Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, you
No,
guys.
No, there are no
I'm feeling
artificers
that.
in Baldur's Gate.
I guess I don't need to show this map anymore, to be honest. Let me go to the familiar view that we were just on.
So is this like this? It has to be the next day, right? We took a long rest.
Yes. Well, no, I think you decided. So, attuning to the magic items would take a short rest. I think you all did that the morning of the next day. Can you guys
And
hear
how
me?
long is it to the Grove? Yes, I can hear you.
My cat just decided to come and destroy everything. Where's
Mhm,
my...
mhm,
As they do.
I'm like frozen.
As they do.
Wait, can you... Am I back? Wait. I feel like this is a problem that you guys have had where it doesn't find your thing. One sec.
All right, we're getting going.
Alright, I can hear and see you all. I gotta... Did he knock a
We can
cord
hear
loose?
you.
I can't turn my camera on. It like freezes Discord. Oh my god. Okay.
Ha.
Felix has so much shit. I need to like put some of this stuff in a chest or something. Where's my camp chest? My
You don't
Stick
look
it
at
in
camp
Iris.
chests? I guess Iris is in and of herself a camp chest.
Well, technically, it's in your bag of holding, right?
What? Yes, we did it.
There it is.
I had to
Amazing.
unplug my entire camera and replug it in.
Woo!
wait.
You have to switch mics again, though.
Can everyone else see Jared? Because I cannot see him.
Yes,
I see
can
him.
see Jared.
All right, let me just. There we go.
All right. Good. Do I sound good? I'm not on my webcam mic.
Yep, you're good.
I made the mistake of bringing food to my desk, so my cat is freaking out. Anyway, I completely missed the last 5 minutes. What happened?
You
Any-
brought your cat's food to your desk.
That's right, yeah. Everything is his. I'm just borrowing it.
we haven't really done anything. Like where are we right now? We're,
Okay, yeah. So I
and
just
what time of day is it?
it's the next morning.
Right.
I think you guys are going to head out now. You just finished your conversation with Paul.
And is the meeting this evening or tomorrow evening?
It would be tomorrow evening.
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna travel to the Grove today and meet him there.
Yeah, and along the way, so I had this red line is here because this is the line in which the Temple to Ayun is supposed to be on. It's not marked on the map because it's pretty old and may or may not be like run down or not. But regardless, there's a temple there supposedly for Ayun, and that's why you guys are going down and up a little bit rather than to the right and down.
Yeah, rather than the quick way. Yeah.
That makes sense.
And it works out if you leave like this instant, basically, you can make it there and to the Grove, assuming you don't linger or hit anything unfortunate.
All right.
That's a big assumption, but let's do it.
It is always a big assumption.
Yeah, you'd probably just get the horses and mosey on out.
All right. I don't remember if anyone rolled. Just roll for the weather table. D8.
Time for the weather.
Now to the weather.
7.
A 7. All right. You actually critted today on this table. First roll's a crit, guys. Good job.
All right, that sounds like a good moment.
Hey.
I'll re-roll that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's crit is good or bad.
No, it's good. Crit success, I should say. Yeah, you guys have a pretty perfect day for travel. Cold enough for the horses to not... I think I mentioned as you get more southern, the temperature becomes hotter and stickier, more humid, more not temperate, more tropical. And as you travel south, it is even further south. It is, in fact, continuing to get hotter. However, you've managed to find a day that's pretty crisp, considering. And it's good for the horses, so you guys get an extra, I'd say, half a mile or a mile out of the horses, which, if you choose to use, will kind of speed you through almost, like, the entire way, to be fair. You could probably get to the Grove in a day and a half with a rest. If you choose to not rest, you can get there probably within a day, assuming you don't rendezvous or not rendezvous. You don't take too much time. But regardless, the weather is perfect. Not a cloud in the sky. I feel like one of you has a nature book or something for this area. Is
I
that
do.
it?
Yeah, I think Jara does.
That's
me.
that's a very Jara item.
Yep, I have flora and fauna guidebooks. I wrote them in my inventory.
Okay. Why don't you make an intelligence roll?
All right. Intelligence. Oh, that's a nat 20 double crits, baby.
Oh my
I'm
god.
Holy shit!
Do I hear a reroll? Reroll, anybody?
Go once, go twice.
Okay. Natural 20. So, there are a few things to look out for on a crystal clear day like this. You guys had a run-in, not a run-in, but you spotted a rock over in the spires. You have a feeling that that is probably not the only rock in the area, although they have a pretty large radius in which they kind of dominate over as their territory. So you're not sure if you're within that rock's radius or not, but either way, the clear visibility poses potentially some kind of a challenge to your ability to mask yourselves from it. You are pretty confident that a nice day like this will already warrant or garner a lot of travelers, so perhaps you're shielded in just by numbers, statistics. And it is this time of year particular is when they start to hunt before they nest. So there's that. You also know that there are, in this southern part here, there's a fair amount of, they're kind of like bulls, like with bulls with horns and all that, but they are much faster. I call them bulgons. I kind of homebrewed them. I'll spell it for you guys.
When we see them, are they like wild animals or are they like
They are
domesticated
wild. So
and being
this-
used for travel?
Yeah, the story is it's kind of a mix between a bull and an ox and like maybe even like a steed, like a male horse. they all kind of, I don't know how the genetics would work or the reproductive process, but it's kind of got attributes of all of them. It's got like the strength and hardiness of a bull. It's also got the beast of burden kind of thing as like an ox would have, and then it's got the speed and sort of gallop speed that a horse has. Now, they are typically tamed and typically make very versatile and very effective like beasts of burden or companions when traveling. However, as most things do, they get loose and they become wild, and they've become, at least on their smaller version of the food chain, an apex predator. And they are very aggressive, especially around other beasts of burden, like maybe horses, donkeys. They are very territorial and could pose a threat to you. And then the last thing, around this time of year, and on days like this perhaps, there are lots of poisonous snakes in the southern part of the continent. And they like to chill in tall grass and bite things, horses included. So be careful where you rest, would be the advice Jar heeds from the text. That's about it. And then I guess the last thing is less of a flora or fauna thing and more of a natural like weather thing. It has been raining pretty bad the last few days, and now that it's sunny and nice, the tracks are drying, but still very muddy, and not necessarily landslides because you're not near mountains, but it can prove to be quite hard to get through in some places, maybe quick mud even in others.
Oh no.
Well, Jar goes, as we start to ride out of the town, he goes, "Oh, by the way, I saw this beautiful day reminds me of a few things to look out for in the books that I picked up," and then I just regurgitate all
Sure.
that information to the party.
Okay.
So yeah, just even though it's a beautiful day out, still gotta pay attention.
Absolutely.
And you're gonna remember all that for us, right?
I'll do my best.
He already did once, so thank you for doing your reading, Jara. Oh,
All right. With that, you guys press on. Is there anything? So the way I rolled like the horseback, you can do minor things like read, but you can't take short rests or anything like that. Is there anything you guys would like to do? You have, I'd say, roughly to your next checkpoint, maybe three or 4 hours until your next checkpoint. May or may not be the temple, but
We don't exactly know where the temple is, right? Like, it's not marked, so I think
not
I'm
on the
just
map.
Gonna be,
Yeah.
right. So I think I'm just gonna be like perceiving the whole time for this temple because we gotta get rid of this scroll.
Okay.
And what's did any of us make a religion check or anything like this, or know otherwise of what the temple is there for?
like what to expect?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think you guys did, but you absolutely can.
Okay. There, sorry. Well, I suppose do religion.
Sure.
Actually, history if you'll allow it. It's
Absolutely.
better
Well,
at
what
that.
I guess the question is, what are you trying to gain from this check?
Trying to gain like, I mean, it's a temple, so there are like probably priests or monks or something there. He just wants to know what to expect a little bit more. Than,
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Felix would like to look around at the people and see if he recognizes anyone donning like Ioun-ish garb.
Yeah. Totally.
Okay. Thera rolled a 14.
Okay. A 14 on intelligence, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Here is the wiki entry for Ioun for those that want to read further. But as far as like what to expect from the temple, Ioun is not a very commonly worshipped deity of order anymore. Ioun kind of fell off after the first Great Reckoning, kind of lost a lot of prominence and power because Ioun is not exactly a god of power in the traditional sense. Very much knowledge is power, which arguably is the most powerful, but you know, the common folk like to align themselves with more gaudy shows of strength, like an helm, you know, with all the...
Or like a hipster deity.
Kind of, yeah. And these days it's become followers of Ioun have become really profound and prominent scholars. If you guys remember, a lot of the archives or archivists for the Order of the Archive are followers of Ioun. In fact, many of their sigils contain regular pictures of Ioun, 3 eyes. Also, their teleportation sigils are marked heavily with Ioun's magic, etc. But Ioun is known as the knowing mentor, and so the temple structure follows that pretty heavily. It's kind of like your modern monks would be Ioun. They would be following Ioun. People who basically just decide to throw away the common life and all desires and study. And study they do. So as far as finding this place, you gather it's probably old, like very old. If it's still worshipped in, it's worshipped by probably a very eclectic set of people who are most likely... I guess what I'm trying to say, the followers of Ioun are not people who just fall into it. Like they choose that and they choose that path.
And they probably don't like get out much. And
Yes.
so like, yeah.
Correct.
Well, regardless, could I do a religion check to see if I could spot anyone who looks like they might be a follower?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, that's an 8.
Okay. An 8. So far in your travels over the next 3 hours or so, you haven't seen anyone wearing anything outwardly Iounish. In fact, most of the people you see are pretty ordinary tradesfolk,
Right.
who are traveling, actually mostly northward at this point, the opposite direction. But
Makes sense.
that being said, you can find, if you so wish, there are merchants who kind of post up every so often, who maybe have maps of the region that are more specific, or other trinkets and bobs if you'd like to peruse. They kind of like set up shop for travelers specifically and make their way up the Twin Steps probably every so often, every couple of days.
That seems like a good idea. I would definitely like to take a look at one of these shops, see if they have any like ancient maps or whatever.
Sure. Does anybody want to peruse some of the adjacent shops to the Twin Steps?
Yeah. Peruse.
Okay.
I would.
All right,
Come
so
along with.
there's a few flavors of shops you get to choose from. There are some that have majority of like trinkets and bobs that they pick up from people like yourselves who trade them or, trade them in for other things. There are people who are dedicated cartographers who do have maps, and maps aplenty. Probably some very interesting ones. There are others who are more magically focused who sell some of the, basic accoutrement for magic, basic health potions, basic magic ingredients for spells, or components rather, ingredients for alchemy. And then there are those who trade in weaponry, arms, and armament. And then finally those that trade in secrets. There are your quote-unquote news carts that you can see every so often.
Okay, I definitely want to take a look at the news cart and probably
So
the
do I.
map cart.
I threw that in there specifically for Jara. All right, so you want to divide and conquer here? Who's going where? You want to go together?
Well, I want to do 2 stops: news and maps.
Okay. I guess
All news, all the time.
is everyone following Felix?
Therathar is not too interested in those. I guess he'll stop by the magical
Okay.
item area.
I'll follow Therathari into the magical accoutrements.
And Felix will say, if y'all find anything you think I would like, let a boy know. Or let a I'm not a boy, I'm a man.
let a brother know.
Self-report.
Let me know.
Be careful who you try to convince.
Yeah, I know, you're right. It gets mixed up all the time.
Okay. So we'll start with the magical stuff first. You have 2 choices here, magical folk. And for the sake of time, I think it would be wise to maybe pick one, and also for dramatic effect. But there is a cart pulled by 2 horses that have very clearly fashioned on them fake unicorn horns. And their manes are dyed like pink and purple. They're white horses with like splotches of random color put on their fur. Their hooves, you can see, are painted like purple and gold. And the cart itself is basically like a thin paint over decayed and dead wood that has been decayed and dead for many years. You gather this is probably your kind of slimy salesman for magical stuff. May get a really good deal on something, may get ripped off. That's the dice you roll. And then there's a much more reputable looking cart.
Hey, buddy, you want to buy a magic item?
Yeah, kind of like that, you know?
There's got to be a diamond in the rough somewhere, though.
Maybe. And then there's a much bigger cart. It's got 2 doors that swing open. It's got the shelves inside and outside. The steeds look very well kept. It looks pretty well trafficked. There's quite a bit of people perusing the items. And an old lady with very small round glasses, she's half elven, stands out front greeting customers. And a young man, again half elven, very well dressed, is also aiding customers when looking. That's your other option. Where are we going?
To the cart that is more likely to not be selling us death sticks.
Okay. Absolutely. All right. So you walk up to the cart and you can see, like, plastered over the front there or painted on, Romaldo's Trinkets, Bobs, and Everything in Between. That's the name. And you walk up and you see who you presume to be Romaldo sitting there. That's the man that's helping people. And he says, when he gets to you, hello, good afternoon. I'm Romaldo. Welcome to my humble, quaint little shop. Are you looking for anything in particular?
I'm just looking. And Iris?
Also just browsing.
Wonderful. Well, I'll be walking around, wandering. If you need any help, feel free to tap on my shoulder. Enjoy. And it'll help the next guest.
So Therathari, to help you out, Jared, would not be looking for anything that requires attunement. He has far too many of those already.
Sure.
And also probably something that's not too expensive.
Okay, yeah. So go ahead and roll me, both of you can roll me d20s.
Iris is also pretty tapped out when it comes to things that require attunement. She's kind of primarily looking for more things to slap onto Mori.
Okay.
My roll is an 18.
I also got an 18.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll allow one of you to reroll.
I'll do a reroll.
All right.
8.
Okay, 8. So, all right. With an 8, we'll start there. You see there are a number of magical potions that you can choose from. In this case, there are things like potions of growth. There's a potion of invulnerability, which is pretty rare. And it's kind of this very shiny, like dark green liquid. Or not dark green, light green liquid. Those are like the potions you see. Outside of the potions, there is in a jar, like suspended in this thick liquid, there are 2 eyes, which upon further inspection, if you want to roll me an Arcana check.
Yeah. Oh, that's lovely. Arcana, you said?
Yes.
27.
Okay. With that excellent roll, you gather that this eye can be outfitted to you or to Mori, either one, to increase your perceptive abilities, as well as for you particularly, if you choose to augment yourself with it, will allow you to have dark vision when your eye is removed from you, as well as an increased +1 perception roll when you've removed your eye.
this is a eye of flesh, or is it?
It's an eye of flesh, but you gather you can probably maybe work through. It's magical, so it's not just a
Oh,
flesh
curious.
eye.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, I was just gonna ask about that.
Sure. So roughly 200 gold for this item. It's called Ezra's Eye, and the story is effectively there was this kind of insane mage, like literally went insane, clawed his own eyes out, and this guy, Romaldo, got the eyes. And they are apparently very good eyes, probably magically enchanted, maybe leading to his insanity, probably enchanting all this stuff on his own body.
Is it a pair of eyes in the container, or is it a singular eye? And oh, go ahead.
It's a pair of eyes, but you can augment it to be just to take the one. It's flexible. I gave you two, one for if you wanted to give it to Mori. That's kind of why.
Okay. So each eye is considered a separate item.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll put 200 at that.
Okay, you have Ezra's eyes.
That sounds fun as
So
fuck.
you gain the +1 when your eye is removed to your perception. You gain.
I'll tinker. I will. Let me write this down, and then I will tinker around with those when I get the chance.
Sure.
So it's +1 to perception. You said.
They come in like a jar.
Yes, they're in a jar of liquid. You'll have to like put them onto yourself. Like that'll be.
Yeah,
a
I'll
roll.
tinker. I'll tinker around with them once they're.
Yeah,
once
I've got
they're
medicine. What's it called? Proficiency. So I got you. I'll be your surgeon.
You also get dark vision with them, and then your dark vision distance extends. Like your ability to see in darkness extends by 10 feet.
As if
lovely.
Mori couldn't get any creepier.
Do they do?
Yeah, we're just going to slap some weird mage's eyes
Yeah,
into
he's
it.
got some flesh eyes on him.
Do they do magical darkness?
Yep.
Oh, sick.
Oh shit!
Oh wow.
Okay, weird question. Is this a universal effect, or does it only happen once I've taken the eye out?
Only when the eye is out.
Okay. Curious. Interesting. Curious. So if I were to slot this into Mori doesn't have an ability to remove its eyes.
Yeah. So for Mori, this would become an action to like gain those benefits, or sorry,
Okay.
a bonus action. It's kind of like you're focusing through the eye,
Okay. Got it. Okay.
which I think removing your eye is a bonus action anyway.
Yep. I don't remember if my eye was an attunement item or not.
I might have that in my notes. I can check at the break.
Okay, word.
But this is not intuitive.
Okay, word. Yeah, I'm definitely tinkering around with that the next time we get a rest.
Yeah. The
As
only
soon as I have
catch
time
is in
to.
order to use this, yeah, you have to make another check. So be mindful.
That's fine.
Okay. All right, and then Therathari rolled a 17, right?
18.
18. All right. There is a wondrous item called the Dust of Deappearance. And if you throw enough of this dust onto something, it becomes invisible. However, if you move, the dust falls off and you are visible. And it's one-time use only.
Okay. Interesting. How much is this?
This is 50 gold.
Oh, that actually doesn't seem too bad.
Yes, not bad at all.
Like that's a lot of utility to.
That's like a
basically-
health potion.
Yeah, it's basically a health potion.
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
many
but-
uses does it have again?
It's
Just one.
just got one. And it's got
one
on
use.
yeah, it's on a creature that is large
come in
or
handy, though.
smaller and that equivalent of object.
Yeah, like doing it on an object is cool. We
Yeah,
will buy
I
that
like
for
that.
sure.
Okay.
How
dust
long does it last once it's on there?
until it moves, until you move it.
That's cool. And what's it called again?
The Dust of Deappearance.
Okay.
That's one item. You rolled pretty well. There's also a fancy ring. It's considered common, but it's a ring of tracking. Once you cast the ritual with it, you are able to track the wearer. As long as they don't leave the plane, and as long as you continually do the ritual every day.
That is less appealing to me, though, Therathar will take a mental note for Felix.
Okay,
because-
that's 180 gold.
okay.
All right, and then the last one. I'll give you a choice here, Tom. It is either going to be it's probably the size of a walnut, but it's an acorn, or it's like a silver dollar coin. Which would you like to look at?
The acorn walnut.
Okay. So this is called the Mighty Acorn. When you place it into a patch of dirt and pour water on it, it will grow 20 feet the next day to a maximum of 1d100 plus 100 feet.
A mighty acorn.
Wait,
indeed.
how long does it take to reach its max height?
However many, it grows up to,
So just 20 feet a day, divisible by
yes,
whatever the max height you roll is.
correct. And it's
could
a roll-on
could you
use.
sit atop this thing?
Yes, you could.
Oh wow. How much is that?
It is 73 gold.
Wow. Again, this seems like decent value for some like obscure, really, but like potentially impactful utility. I will take it.
Therathari loves these like wacky.
These are
Yeah.
weird ass esoteric items.
Yeah. Okay.
Arathari's in the bargain bin and he's loving it.
He really is.
Yeah, you're a TJ Maxx.
Yeah.
He's a thrift authority. What is the price and the name again?
So it's 73 gold.
30.
It's called the Mighty
Uh-huh.
Acorn.
A mighty acorn.
And once you plant it, it will grow 20 feet a day up until 1d100 plus 100 feet are reached. And it's an oak tree.
Well, Iris, I have found some cool new toys.
So did I. She says that and she holds up her jar of eyes.
Right.
That's
Cool.
so
Therathari smiles like one of those grins that
Just was like,
it's like forced smile, you know.
it's such an Irish thing to do. Like, yeah, look what I got. He's holding up just a pair of human eyes. Like,
I love it. That's the best. You got to have an iris in every party, you know?
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
absolutely.
All right. I switched to the main map because we're now moved to the fun news stuff, and I have to show
Oh,
you
yes.
where in the world things are going on. So we'll start with the news, the news caravan. You guys have two choices again for what kind of news you'd like to, or what kind of purveyor of news you'd like to look at. There is a crier who is claiming to be from down south, Jonesburg. He claims to be a crier who has been tasked with carrying this news up the Twin Steps all the way till he gets to Navarre and Gat Shadow, so he doesn't cross the spires. But typically the way the news cycle works is there are criers who will bring news forward every so often up the Twin Steps, and then word takes it further out. So he's got his own little setup with newspapers he's peddling. He stands on, the typical footstool. It's called the pulpit, I imagine. He's standing on his soapbox, I think is the right word, and preaching to everybody the news. From your brief listening, this is kind of your equivalent to like a very, very traditional media source. And you take with it maybe some of the biases that that news source may have. Who knows? As well as maybe a really strong funding of research. But who knows? You can spend a little bit of time maybe sussing out which one you'd like more in a second. And the second one is more of a grassroots kind of the local times, if you will. Taking this region specifically under its purview and publishing, like a lot smaller headlines, like, local resident grows the largest pumpkin or something like that. A lot more regionalized, a lot less continent-wide, and there may be some nuggets in there that the larger press wouldn't cover, maybe on purpose or just because they have so much. Those are your choices.
Which one seems to have a less governmental is it?
Make an insight check.
Ooh, here we go. Balance things out. I got 5.
Okay. Which one has a more governmental feeling? I mean, the Jonesburg Press is probably going to have some because it's, coming out of a pretty large township. But you gather both of them are pretty removed from the Turin Touch from here because they're so far south.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, it is a reputable news source, so they'll also vet things a lot more, but maybe even vet them too much to the point where like their biases are removing stories altogether. Who knows? There's larger room for error, is what I'm trying to say.
I'm tempted by both for different reasons. But Felix is really concerned with... he just wants really to find out any kind of like Karth news, and so I think he's going to go for the Jonesburg guy, just because he seems more likely to be reporting on that kind of stuff.
Jara is going to do the opposite. He wants the law.
All right. So you each get to hear or read 1d4 news stories. So both of you roll.
This is fun.
4. Nice.
Wow. You motherfucker.
3.
Yes,
So
Tony.
Jared, 7 stories, please.
All right,
Yes.
guys. I hope everyone is ready. Get your pillows. I'll just give you the headlines and maybe a brief
that's
summary. All right, so we'll start with the Jonesburg Press. So, like I said, this covers a lot of the region. And by region, I mean it's kind of divided here, maybe around these borders.
Mm-hmm.
So, the first one is about the Twin Lakes. Apparently, so the Twin Lakes are a large tourist destination and used for fishing. They're a pretty reliable food source, typically. But this article claims that the Twin Lakes are at the lowest water level they've been in the last couple of decades. And people are suspecting that with the lack of rains coming through recently, not recently, over the last decade, the higher droughts and temperatures rising, as well as the increased draw from them as people use them as natural water sources for, aquifers and reservoirs and whatnot. They speculate that within the next decade, if things continue this way, it will be roughly 1/3 the water level it is today, which is concerning for multiple reasons. That's the first headline for you, Tony. The second
For
one...
me?
What'd you say?
This is the local news or the Jonesburg?
Jonesburg.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Then the second one is regarding a new mine found in the Cinder Peaks. And there is a drawing... Oh, my camera went weird. There is a drawing on the newspaper page, or one of the folds there. There's a new mine entrance on the very southernmost side of the Cinder Peaks. They've uncovered miles and miles of winding tunnels that look like they were carved out by hand. And within them, strangely, are lots of minerals and ores that were just left. So miles of winding tunnels and caverns were uncovered that look man-made for the most part, without any interest in the resources that were in these tunnels.
Interesting.
That's
Does it say in the article if the tunnels go all the way through to the other side?
They are. You gather the date that this was written and making it to you. There may be more uncovered. However, they seem to go deep within the earth rather than through the mountains.
Gotcha.
And they are sending explorers and anyone who wants to. It's kind of like a gold rush, a mini gold rush, as well as explorers can explore uncharted parts of the Cinder Peaks. Okay, the third piece of news comes from the Guanjay Mountains. There is rumors of a new mine that has formed there that has connections to an empire long shrouded in mystery and secrecy. This sounds a lot like Blackrock Quarry.
Yeah, no.
Maybe there's a
Uh-oh.
whistleblower.
Ooh.
But the article is very much flavored as though this is just rumors.
Good. Get out there with your propaganda.
All right, so those are your stories there, Tony.
And do I have a physical copy of these stories? To,
Yeah,
like-
you can buy. It's just like 2 silver to buy the paper.
Cool.
All right, and now we make it to Jara for the local news. All right, the first bit of news comes from the neighboring city of Navarre. Navarre, I think I mentioned, is famous for the large pits that are remnants of battles long past, of these large earth-shattering explosions and battles. Some rumor that they are from asteroids or meteors hitting meteorites. Is it a meteorite if it hits?
I don't know.
Whatever. Meteorites, we'll call them, that hit and maybe left craters. And one such local by the name of Cal Swiftfoot.
Was it Hal? H-A-L?
Cal with a Q, actually.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh.
Swiftfoot, a halfling, claims one of the jobs in Navarre, and the pits especially, not jobs, but one of the trades are people dig there for, I think I mentioned, the pits are also used kind of like the pit from Sparta. They just kick people in there, you know what I
mentioned
mean?
that. I do remember that.
So people go in there and like search the bodies for belongings and kind of strip them of shit. A pretty nasty trade, what people do it. But anyway, someone claims to have found a drow amongst the bodies. And locals have kind of declared this person, Cal Swiftfoot, as a lunatic who shouldn't be trusted because the bodies are decayed already and everything's mushed together. He doesn't know what he saw. But Cal swears by it. That's your first.
I believe him.
You believe anything. That's not
In the
saying
newspaper.
much. That's
In
not
the
saying
newspaper. must
one
be
of these
true.
days, one of these stories is going to genuinely be bogus, and we're just going to go down the rabbit hole of some nonsense.
Who's to say it's one of these days? All right, the next bit of news comes from Deepwater River. This river is a connection directly to Blackstone Bay and, of course, the Pirates Bay, which sells bootleg DVDs. But
Nice.
Deepwater River is experiencing a large increase in volume of water. It's kind of the opposite of the Twin Lakes. So much so that there's a dam, I think I mentioned, as one option to walk over, that's dammed up here. And that dam is supposedly under experiencing some stress fractures. And so the locals are worried that if the dam, isn't fixed soon or made more robust, that it may break and that may be really bad. But the interesting part about that story for you, Jara, I would invite you to roll a perception check.
Nat 20. I'm
Wow.
killing it.
You're up and down.
Jesus.
When you're up,
Yeah.
you're up, though.
Yeah, for real.
Okay, with a natural 20, you gather that a lot of the natural disturbances you've been hearing about, whether true or false, have to deal with water. Volumes of water, precipitation, droughts, influxes of water. And maybe there's a connection there. I mean, the dragon you just fought was in water. You got knocked out by water.
It's true.
Maybe you're
Yeah.
just, still waterlogged. So that's that one. So your third story comes a little bit more north in Serpent's Run, another river. There appears to be in the city of Lost Souls, which is not a real city, it's a ruins, but there seems to be a pollution leaking from the city of Lost Souls that is tainting Serpent Run. Obviously, it flows downstream into Blackstone Bay, but regardless, the delta there is getting corrupted and corroded. That's another one. That was your third one.
Yeah.
All right. And your final one. The northern Cinder Peaks, where Wispy Falls is, and an ancient ruin called Cyanicius, that wispiness has reported, apparently, to have decreased in recent times.
Oh, I remember that.
And decrease pretty significantly to the point where they're finding wreckages of old ships. And roll me another perception check.
Yeah.
Or this would be intelligence. Just roll an intelligence check.
1. I'm just going
Oh,
back.
there it is. The dice giveth.
And the
And
dice
they take
take us away.
You're not exactly sure why this is important, but perhaps it has something to do with what the wreckages that have been found, and maybe there's more to learn from that. But the article makes no mentions of specific wreckages or findings. Perhaps it was written too early, but there you go. Those are your little bits of news on the happenings. Go wild. So you all reconvene. I guess, Therathar, do you want to share with Felix that there are some knickknacks he could possibly purchase?
Yep.
I hear about the ring, and although it is interesting, I think it would just take too much setup to use effectively. So I think I'll pass.
Okay.
Fair
Enough.
But Jara, what'd you learn from your news?
There's a lot of things going on with water around here. We got you remember that Deepwater River? We crossed that after the Spires. Apparently, there's a dam a little further up that we didn't come across. That's kind of bursting at the seams almost. It's holding so much water back. It's got some stress fractures.
Interesting.
Further up north, there seems to be some more pollution happening. Very similar. I don't know if it's similar, but there's some pollution happening from the city of Lost Souls into the Serpent Run. I don't know. Maybe that's another dragon up there. I don't know. I mean, we had polluted water down here. Who knows? But that's kind of concerning. And right by Wispy Falls outside of Tura, you know how it always seemed kind of foggy over the water there?
Right.
Apparently, that fog is kind of decreasing, and so they're able to explore that area a little more thoroughly. But no idea as to why that's happening either.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
I learned that the Twin Lakes, which we're, I think, coming up on, maybe we can see them from here, who knows? I learned that they are rapidly losing water, and that in a decade they might have a third of the volume of water that they currently contain, which is already low. Yeah. So it seems as if maybe all the local water, at least, is being distributed to the Deepwater River.
Yeah, maybe there's like another dam or something further up the mountain that's like diverting water away.
And there's also, I forget, did I learn about the tunnels in the Cinder Peaks?
Mhm.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
also some tunnels in the Cinder Peaks that have seem to be carved out by hand, but like not at all mined. Like there's just raw ore everywhere that nobody seemed concerned with. So
Is that like a new tunnel through the mountain?
no, it seems to go deep underground, not through. So I wonder if maybe that's where all the water's going. I don't really know.
Well, it could be like an entrance to the Underdark, which is interesting because right over in Navarre, apparently in one of the pits, someone found a drow. So I don't know, maybe like was it a drow scouting party or
For a
something? got
fact,
lost?
they found it. Without any
Without a doubt, it's like they put it in the history books in this town. This is the first drow recorded in the
Interesting.
pits here. It's a really big deal over there apparently. But yeah, he found a drow there, so I wonder if maybe they came up from that Underdark tunnel. I don't know.
Maybe. maybe worth exploring on the way back once we finish our job. I don't know. This all seems very weird. Definitely don't drink any of the water.
Yeah, I think we should maybe start boiling our water that we
I
get
think
from the
so.
rivers before we drink it.
Yeah, yeah, concerned.
Boiling, I hear, cures necrotic energy, right? Just boils that. Boils it
Yeah,
right out.
just gets it right out. Yeah.
All right. You all reconvene on your horses, sharing stories and news alike.
Oh,
Um,
I was also gonna look for a map for.
Oh, that's
we
right.
we can like skip through that if you don't want to.
No, I'll give you options. So, okay. You have a few options here. I didn't get to make all of them, but I will have whatever you choose absolutely next session. There are 3 options you get to choose from. I'll let you choose. This isn't fair to roll. There is a really detailed map. I'll draw them in colors for you. Now, these are maps that you can get not just for this area, so you'll have choice. I always forget that I'm in grayscale for some reason.
I'm really just concerned with the Ioun Temple, but I'm happy to hear my options.
Yeah, so there's a really, really detailed map of this part of Caldrone.
Oh, and that's present day.
Yes. Present day. Judging, like looking at it and comparing it to your map, briefly, there seems to be about 40 more locations you can probably go to that aren't marked. Whether that be cities, temples, ruins, or everything in between. That is one. Then there is a very detailed map of the. You got to scroll over. You got to scroll over to Ostanza.
I see. Oh wow.
To this part of Ostanza. And I should include the capital. The capital is included in there. This includes a lot of points of interest, including villages, towns, mines, ruins. There's some wizard towers that you see as well. And then the last one that you have a choice for is a very, very detailed map of this. Oops, I didn't mean to draw that. It's of this part. A very localized map.
Oh man, could I buy 2?
You can, but the
I'm
way...
not, I don't want to give you more work though.
No, you can. But the catch is, because maps are a big deal.
Yeah, of course.
Their prices are hefty.
Okay.
So if you want
How
to dish
much
out the
for
cash,
The
absolutely.
2 local ones, the Cinder Peaks and the
Yeah, so
Twin Step.
the Twin Steps one is definitely the cheapest. It's going to be 610 gold for that
Okay.
one. The Cinder Peaks one is 1100 gold, and Ostanza is a whopping 1800 gold.
All right. I've got the cash, and this feels worth it. So I'm gonna buy both of the local ones.
Okay, so that's 600 and another 1100. So you have 1700.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, you can dish that out, and I will send those both to you. The start of next session, and also because you have it, I will reveal the location, the coveted location. I'll switch to the next pane of the Temple to Ioun, which is in fact a legitimate place. You were not misled.
Didn't even cross my mind.
I'm sure it didn't. So you guys will see the Temple to Ioun. The path starts here, and it's about here. Okay. You can see that, right?
Yep.
Yep.
So you are about 2 hours, maybe an hour's travel from the temple, the outskirts of the temple. And I guess also worth noting, if you'd want to do it, there is a supposed ruins not too much farther, right here. if you wanted to explore that. I'm just giving you the map without giving you the map.
Yeah, yeah. Appreciate it.
That's there. There is supposedly a really nice lookout point if you travel a little bit up the mountain here,
romantic.
and you can get a nice survey of the land if you wanted to do that. And then the other final place of interest is there is supposedly a second spire, Wizard's Tower. That's here.
Oh man, these maps are gonna be so helpful. Like there's all this shit just like nearby.
Oh wow.
So
All
this is your spire, another Wizard's Tower. This is ruins, and this is
And that's
a
not the Revolt Spire. That's a different spire.
It's a different one than the one you have on your map.
All right. Awesome. Well, yeah. Let's do the temple first, and then see how much time we have, because we do have an appointment. But
Okay. Anything you guys want to do in this sort of brief moment of respite, I guess you could call it?
Nope. All set.
Nothing in particular.
yeah, I think I'm good.
Good, Dan?
Yeah.
Okay. On to the temple. If you want to make any checks along the way for people, for symbols, for shady people, let me know. Otherwise, we can zoom right to the outskirts of the temple. And
Oh, Jared, I just have a small question.
Sure.
I wrote down on my character sheet that the cape that I'm wearing, the herder's cape.
Yeah.
It's a red velvet cape.
Mhm.
Has a 25 diameter glow or 25 foot diameter glow.
Optional. You
Is that-
can turn it on and off.
That's what I was gonna ask.
And it can
Okay, cool.
glow any color.
Sweet.
Yeah. That'd be kind of wild if it was on all the time.
Always glowing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be like a debuff.
Yeah, that would be rough. Okay. I think we'll take a 5-minute break, 5-10 minute break, come back at the entrance to Ioun's temple.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
See you in 5.
See you in 5.
Cool.
All right. So, your next move is to go to the temple to Ioun. Now, I guess I'll ask for perception checks from you all as you enter the forest here. By the way, these trees are called the Shadowwood.
Oh.
Just so you all are aware.
I rolled an 8 on my perception check. I'm feeling 8 today.
14.
Okay. 14's not bad.
Unnatural 20.
That's good too. Dan, did you roll? You're muted.
Sorry, I got a 4.
All right, I think that's good from all of you. Good enough. You notice that this path is very overgrown. There are, on the entrance to it, there are these 2 stone pillars, which contain the symbol of the 3 eyes of Ioun, in a very dilapidated state. Mossy stone, kind of falling apart. I'd invite anyone who'd also like to make a religion check to do so.
Decent roll again here. 18.
Nice.
I did a lot better. Religion, you said?
Yes.
I got an unnatural 20.
All right.
Religion. Dirty 20.
Wow, you guys are very religious, but you're also not. So with those excellent religion checks, you know this is absolutely a sort of holy area. You can feel the presence of Ioun as you walk down this path increase. And in fact, with accompanying your perception rolls from earlier, you see every so often there are 3-eyed owls that inhabit these trees, which are considered to be kind of wardens of Ioun. Not guards, but wardens, I think, is an apt word there. They just sort of oversee things and watch you intently as you move through this path. The path itself despite having an unkempt entrance, surprisingly has very little fallen debris on it. You'd imagine over time trees fall, leaves fall, sticks fall, etc. But the path is pretty pristine. It is cobblestone that looks very well worn, despite not being covered by the surrounding vegetation. It winds, it narrows, it widens. Very natural feeling. Eventually, well, before I continue, do any of you want to do anything else? You can also see there are runes, inscriptions every so often on the stoneway as well. Is there anything you guys want to do while walking?
Just take it all in. I think I'm good.
Yeah, that's
Okay. Yes, and there are the Shadow Woods are quite beautiful. They are orange in color, various shades of orange all year round. They're called the Shadow Woods because their canopies are very, very thick, and so the floor is very dark. And that's unique in the fact that a lot of vegetation on the forest floor doesn't grow, really. There aren't much pockets of sunshine that make it through the canopies. And those like plants that do make it, or I guess flora that do make it, are mostly fungus that thrive in the darkness and moistness, which the Shadow Woods provide both of. You also notice the bark around the outside is kind of like this. It's not quite birch colored, but it's that hue, and it's very thin bark that you can kind of rip off. Probably good for kindling. Some of you know that those of you that have a decent nature check would know that these trees also, their bark can be used for scrolls or for writing things on, as they were in the old days. And also, they can be smoked for increased cognitive function in some cases. So quite interesting natural, like nature meets, like apothecary. It's pretty cool stuff. But nevertheless, eventually you make your way through the winding path to an opening. And the opening yields in front of you, or before you, stands
So much.
Let's say, barely standing 2-story building. Half the roof is collapsed, but there are, probably at one point there were 4 towers. Now there are only 3, and a pile of rubble that sort of sit at the corners. It's a 2-story building, or was a 2-story building, with towers that are maybe an extra 2 stories above that. And these towers are they're not affixed with battlements or anything like that. They are purely like, conic roofs, all gray stone, even the roofs, very little windows. But you see what's left in the central structure that hasn't quite collapsed. There's a dome, a glass dome. And I guess I'll go off the religion checks from earlier. One of the things that people who follow Ioun, one of the sects of the Ioun religion, are very interested in the cosmos, in astronomy. And so you imagine this dome maybe has some enhancing effects on the night sky, should you stay for the evening. That's one of the only parts of the roof that is still standing and not broken down. But that's the sight you see. There's nobody on the outside. There's a central stairway to a large door that is ajar. And from where you're standing, you can't quite make out what's inside, but no life, animal or otherwise, can be seen on the outside of Ioun's temple.
I guess find a safe spot to put the horses, and then go to what looks like the main entrance. Try to find someone.
Yeah. Sounds like a plan.
Okay, you hitch your horses, no problem. They seem right at home. Certainly not on edge in any way. They seem very calm. In fact, most of you... is anyone here... I guess if you don't want to say, you don't have to. Is anyone here evil aligned at all?
Nope.
Nobody?
I got a couple evil magic items, but that's about it.
Iris's bag is writhing in pain.
Yeah.
Those of you who are even neutral may feel slightly. There's a calming presence here, and it seems to affect at scale those who are not necessarily lawful good. That's probably where it skews. And in fact, Iris, you feel not a discomfort, quite the opposite, that like despite you having like the dark energy singularity within your chest cavity, somehow things feel good. Although there, as though there's a calming presence that falls over all of you and extends to the horses. There are, as you come closer to the front entrance, this sort of staired, I don't even want to call it a porch because it's fallen apart so much. You can see there are the three-eyed owls that were watching you earlier kind of fly up above you and sit on the roof looking down at you guys, 3 or 4 of them. Just looking, no like animosity there. They just seem to watch you enter. As you enter, the space is as run down as the outside looks inside here. You can see the dome. So the room is sectioned like this. So it's one giant box. And here's the 3 towers. This one fell apart. And the entrance that you just walked up is here. And the dome is like back left. Most of this is like caved in. Literally like light is pouring through. But anyway, you see where the domed entrance is, there is a floor, a circular tiled floor that sits under it and has a bunch of markings on it for astrological objects, or astronomical objects, excuse me. You can see there's like maps that are drawn in like concentric circles, maybe demarcating orbits. There are telescopes positioned in fixed locations and a kind of central platform where maybe research is conducted or observations are made. There's a very small seating area there, and the rest of it is basically void, empty space. What's interesting here, and then there's a staircase in the back left that goes down and also up, but the up is kind of broken. What's interesting is you don't see books or anything like that would denote a studious following. Maybe the only thing in here that denotes anything research-based is this dome and the map, tiled map underneath it. And the space is empty.
I would like to... I have a book that I didn't think would ever come up, but a book that I found in the hedge maze in Act 1. Or not, oh my god, Act 1.
Act 1.
Arc 1. What the hell am I talking
when you're
about?
Baldur's Gate build.
Yeah. Called Celestial Bodies. So I want to take that out and see if I can make sense of these markings on the ground that you said are like
Yes.
orbits.
If you recall, you actually pulled that from a very complicated contraption, which was aiming to do what this is also doing, which is map the night sky and the orbits and the timings. You don't really know why in that case, what it was used for. Even in this case, perhaps. But you match a lot of the astronomical objects to what you see in the book, to the tiling on the floor. And upon approaching it closer, you notice that the concentric rings move, or are movable, as though the floor, the tiling, maybe moves along with the night sky.
Oh, so it like moves automatically.
Yeah.
Like it's like
shit.
a live look at the cosmos.
You gather it's probably not live as in updating real time, but when the night comes, it will adjust to match the movement of these objects. And
Oh, neat.
you gather that the arcane mechanical device powering this, the requirements for that was being able to map the movement of these objects in the sky. So there's probably some sophisticated stuff going on here.
Sweet.
Char's gonna call out. He's gonna go, hello, is there a representative of the temple here? We have something we'd like to discuss with you.
There's no reply. Make all of you can make a perception check as you're in here.
19.
Wow.
8.
10.
Perception 6.
All right. Therathar is carrying here with
He
the
always
perception.
does.
So there's the staircase, which maybe you could explore, but also Walking over, and actually, Felix, you have advantage because of your
Oh.
book.
No, it's an 8 still.
Okay. Walking over, you kind of see some of the celestial bodies here are out of place. Especially looking at Felix's book, you kind of grab it from him as he's sort of, maybe not recognizing the pattern. But you gather
As if-
that... Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go on.
As if they should be like rotated back into place, or like, do you mean like they're just straight up like in the wrong spot and we can't fix it? Like,
No, they are out of place, rotationally speaking.
gotcha. Okay.
Especially given the book maps a lot of... The book is essentially a catalog, a time series catalog of the night sky as drawn by the person writing the book. It attempts to attach equations and reasoning to it, most of which is perhaps not sound mathematically or cosmologically. But nevertheless, Therathari, you are able to recognize that some of these bodies are not in the right place.
How so?
They are rotated a little too much. Specifically, you gather that the rotation device is probably something to do with the telescopes. And through a series of skill checks, you can probably align them correctly.
Okay, so he'll relay this desync to the party and see what they have to say.
Did Jara have any classes on like cosmology related magic back at the university that he could maybe
Yeah.
fall back upon?
Absolutely. Make a history check.
Right. Ooh, 8. I was asleep during those classes.
They're your 8 a.m.s.
Those were your...
Mhm.
8 a.m. cosmology makes total sense.
You look at the
Well,
morning
well, did
stars.
everyone see the stars last night?
Yeah.
See, I was always up so late looking at the stars that I slept through the class. That was the dilemma.
Damn.
With your 8, you definitely had some intro to like cosmological magic classes, some like astronomical based arcane energy. Specifically though from the moon, Katha, not Ruidus. And you gather through that at least there's probably some magic involved here that may need to be altered, or used magic rather to alter the concentric rings to align them. That's all you kind of gather. But there's also maybe a brute strength way.
Alright, well, I kind of had a class on something related to this back at the academy I went to, but it was never really my forte. I know they used to use some magic to turn these rings, so we could try that. Or I don't know. I don't know if they look stuck. I know.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, I know in class that it was the professor, when he was doing like a demo, just kind of used some magic.
Jared, did you say there's a telescope in the room?
There are 4,
4. Okay.
and they're all around there's one in the center, the largest one, and then there are 3 kind of placed randomly, but you can move the telescopes.
Are
just-
they? Well, I want to note how they're oriented now. Are they all looking in the same direction? Are they all looking through the dome?
They're all looking through the dome at different points, you imagine. But looking at the dome, make a perception check, Felix.
8 again. I don't know what's
Oh my
happening.
goodness!
8's the lucky number. You guys go to the Temple of Ioun and fail.
Not smart enough.
You look up and you can see not the blue sky above you, but the dark celestial sky.
Gotcha. Okay, so they work, or presumably they work no matter what time of day.
Yeah. And also you gather the alignment of the objects that you're looking through probably have to map somehow onto the objects in the concentric rings.
Okay. So, I think, based on the setup here, what we need to do is make sure that these telescopes are actually looking at what they should be looking at. So I think we should just look through each of them and make adjustments accordingly. And that should, hopefully, just align these concentric circles themselves.
Okay.
If
Go
you,
that's-
for it.
yeah.
That's my thought.
Well, I don't know if I said it. If I didn't, sorry. I think I said there were 3. Did I say the number of things out of place? I don't remember.
No, I don't think
I
so.
don't think
Okay.
so.
There are 3 things out of place. 3 objects.
So let's each look through one of these telescopes and see if one of them is actually looking at an actual celestial body.
Let's go stargazing, I guess.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so there are 4 of you and 3 telescopes. Actually, there are 4 telescopes. There's one in the middle. So why don't you guys draw your colors on the telescopes that you're going to look at? So I'll draw the telescopes in a different color. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Look at this one.
I'll go up here.
I'll take the mid.
Okay, Therathari's the bottom. All right, so I need perception checks from all of you. I'll give you a choice. You can perceive through the telescope. That's one check you can do. You can try to use magic when looking through as well. Or for those of you who rely more on your intelligence, you can roll an intelligence
So
check.
you're saying in
And
Arcana?
can we investigate the
You
general
can, yeah, investigation
space-
too. Yes.
basis?
So we
All
can
right, let's go.
Perception, Arcana, or Investigation, basically?
Yes.
All right, I will Arcana.
I will investigate.
Oh, nice. I Arcana with a 19.
I got a 15.
I investigate an 18.
Okay,
Yo,
Therathari.
you're killing it.
A 26.
All right,
We
Holy
killed
shit.
it.
you all beat the DC, which may have been too low, but that's fine.
Or are we just that good?
Yeah, you
I don't
might
know. I
just-
think we all rolled really well, though.
You did all roll really well. I think the lowest was like a 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you all managed to look at the celestial body. So in Felix's case, you are looking at an asteroid of some kind or some sort of, rocky body. For Therathari, you are looking at a spiral galaxy of some kind, potentially. And for Jara, you are looking similarly at some sort of galaxy. And then finally for... why am I blanking on your character?
Iris?
Yeah, Jesus Christ. I keep going Tenley for some reason. I got Tenley on the brain. For Iris, you are looking at Katha.
The moon.
One of the moons of the material plane. And with the alignment, as you move and look on different celestial bodies, you realize through some time that the platforms move along with it, the concentric rings, and eventually, as you all settle on the bodies that are aligned, that will result in the alignment of the floor. You hear a series of clicks, as though something else mechanical is happening. And then, after removing your face from the magnifying telescope, you turn to see standing before you, at the stairway entrance, is a tabaxi, who is wearing dark purple robes, with slight flares of silver. There are the 3 eyes, 2 on either side of the sort of center buttons, and then there is a third that is kind of midway down abdomen that is on kind of split in half by the splitting of the robe. You can see, this long robe on this tabaxi figure, who appears to be very old. Now, I guess maybe Felix would have the most familiarity with tabaxis.
I've seen a few.
From Karth. Tabaxis typically don't live a long time. I mean, Their
Well, I
life
hear they have 9 lives.
True. Their lifespans are similar to just regular humans, but this tabaxi seems to be grayed significantly, extending beyond what you would presume to be the normal lifespan, range of lifespan. Very skinny looking, has a cane even, which is pretty rare because they're very dexterous races. And these long gray whiskers and gray splotches and what was probably once a black fur. And then has these glossed over kind of silver eyes, similar feline eyes, but are silver. Kind of stands at the top of the steps, both hands over the top of the cane, and basically says, "Welcome, welcome to the Temple of Ayun. I see your wits are strong, and you come seeking answers. Please, if you will." And ushers you down the steps. Do you follow?
Yeah. I'll follow.
Yeah, man.
That was an interesting welcome. What did you say?
Yes.
Yeah, they know
I
Certainly,
didn't realize Ayun was so in tune with the stars.
I feel like we just passed the test.
They know that we seek answers, which is kind of alarming. I guess.
Well, I mean, why else would we be here? Come on, let's be honest.
I guess you're right.
As you're debating what the underbelly of this temple holds, eventually you make it down this spiral staircase into the underbelly itself, which is a lot more better kept than the exterior and interior you just came from. And it is a large chamber, about double the total size of the upstairs. And it's basically an open space, except for the rows and rows of bookshelves that you see. Kind of on the side of this central pathway here. And then there is a large, very large stone statue. The ceilings are also very tall. A large stone statue of a sphinx at the very far end of the chamber. Aside from you and this unnamed tabaxi, who has yet to reveal themselves to you, you are the only people in this place. Do you guys want to do anything or say anything while walking down and through this chamber?
Barathar is going to ask how old the temple is.
Well, the temple certainly predates me, but it's tough to say the exact age. He'll ponder for a moment. And then he'll give you... I'm trying to think if any of you... I'm looking at your sheets. Any of you would know... Maybe Iris would. He will say this temple is... The temple is 150 years post-divergence. Iris, make a history check.
Oh Lord, history.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God I can actually read. That's not a natural one. That's a 17 for a 22 total.
Divergence is, even in your time, whenever that was, a term very loosely used only in ancient books. But it refers to the time in which the first ones, which were the creatures of ages long gone, the first creatures to live in the material plane, descended upon the material plane for the first time. It's called divergence because they have diverged from their holy representations, being the energies of the primordial beings that birthed them. So 150 years post-divergence, this temple's freaking old, dude. It's amazing it's standing. This is like beyond thousands of years.
How have you managed to maintain this place for so long?
Ayun watches over this place and protects it. I'm sure you felt the guiding spirit that fills these walls and the surrounding forest. It's shrouded in protection, a warding spell. Enchantment, really, baked into the very stone that makes it up.
Are you the only other person here?
Yes, but I am in spirit elsewhere.
What does that mean?
Make a Arcana check.
23.
18.
This is some kind of projection, not an actual physical being in front of you.
Oh. Yeah, I'm sorry. What was your name? I don't think we caught it.
My name is Casimir. I am the humble overseer of this site.
Spelling.
Casimir. Kasimer. Serving and protecting the very grounds in which you stand, both in spirit and in form.
Well, it's very nice to meet you. My name is Jara. And these are
Felix?
my companions.
Yes, I've seen you all before, keeping my eye on you all
Oh,
and your travels, as I do.
so you know why we're here then?
I do. I know the answers you seek, but they come at a price. For Ayun believes knowledge is power, and power must be wielded with responsibility.
I think I had a great Uncle Ben who said something very similar to that.
I know, I saw him unfortunately pass in a horrible robbery.
Skywalker.
Anyway. So, who amongst you is curious enough to ask the first question? At this point, you guys are walking towards the Sphinx. Not quite made it there yet. He's walking pretty slow, despite being a
All right.
projection.
Well, I don't know how much this is a question as it is a request, but we have a very evil scroll that seems to be some sort of artifact of Tharizdun, and we were hoping that you or your temple or one of Ayun's followers could help us with destroying this evil artifact, that it does not fall into the wrong hands.
Yes, I've seen this artifact. May you procure it for me?
Oh yeah, Iris, if you
Oh.
don't mind.
Okay. And Iris will remove the containment vessel from her chest.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that whole thing. It's like in a safety box.
Yeah.
All right. At this point, you guys are nearing the Sphinx, and Casimir will ask you to place the lockbox in front of the Sphinx.
I'll do so.
He'll do a little walk around in his form, which, as you see now, that you're really looking at this, it's a very well done projection, but you can still see some of the parts that are kind of shimmering as though not truly material. But despite that, you watch as he stands in front of you and the lockbox, begins an incantation, a ritual casting, which will perhaps awkwardly take a few moments. You guys have a little bit of time to do what you'd like.
Can I sense what spell this is?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I want to look at this Sphinx.
It's. I don't really have I mean, I guess I could also. Yeah, screw it. We haven't done much today. I'm gonna cast a detect magic to figure out what the hell's going on that one.
Okay.
I want to look at the Sphinx that we just placed the thing in front of.
Okay. Anyone else doing anything?
I don't think I really have much else to do. I'm just gonna watch.
All right.
Oof.
Yeah. What'd you roll?
My third natural 20 of the night.
Okay, what did you roll for?
I was looking at the Sphinx.
Yes, in what way? It is a Sphinx.
I don't know. I guess. Oh, just I don't know. Do I know anything about the Sphinx? Is it?
So you want history?
Yeah, I guess we could do history.
Okay. And you rolled a natural 20 for a total of?
For a total of 24.
Okay. Total of 24 on the Sphinx. So, you want to know the history of Sphinxes?
Yeah, and in particular, I guess the Sphinx that's here. If I don't know if there's like particular Sphinx or if there's just like one.
Yeah, so Sphinxes are one of the earliest first ones, first creatures on the material plane, at least in my world. They are symbols supposedly of great wisdom, of peace, of intelligence, of, in some cases, kind of contradictory trickery, in that they like to give puzzles and logic, logic puzzles to solve in exchange for their wisdom. They are considered to be guardians of knowledge, historically speaking, and great, great acquirers of knowledge, very well traveled. So it doesn't surprise you that a Sphinx is statued here. As for like Sphinxes in time, this doesn't ring a bell as far as any specific one, rather than just the symbol of a Sphinx. However, Felix, in Karth, Sphinxes are not the sort of twist on their reputation or what they symbolize is slightly different than that of this side of the continent. Karthians often believe Sphinxes are symbols of good luck, of good fortune, which is not quite knowledge, but you can maybe draw a line.
In Karth it could be.
Yeah, Karth is a very luck-based civilization. Okay. What you see Casimir doing, and what you would identify, is he is communing with Ayun. He is doing a ritual in which he's communing and contacting Ayun on what to do. Because even he, as wise
Goddamn.
as wise as he may be,
Hey God, I got a question.
yeah,
Just,
this is
What the fuck do I do with this?
We're one
doing,
degree of separation from a god right now.
He's
Yeah.
doing a 10th level spell. Just God, on the payphone.
I think actually this is worth maybe role playing out. I mean, commune is no joke. You know that the direct line of communication with any deity of any kind, order or chaos, is pretty profound. So what you have brought this individual, I don't want to say has stumped him, that's probably not the right word, but has forced him to go to the manager.
Right. I'm glad we came here.
And-
Me too.
I mean, so whatever you
well-
have. Yeah, go on.
So is this scroll going to be particularly difficult to destroy?
Are you asking Casimir?
Yes.
Do we want to interrupt him? Can he talk to us while he's doing this?
We can roleplay, it's fine.
Okay.
I'm afraid the bindings on that hold this dark magic together are just a little beyond me. I'm attempting to ascertain the steps in which to break this, but I'm glad you've brought it here and not risked it yourself.
What is it, if you are able to tell me that?
This is essentially one of the rawest forms of curse I've ever seen. It comes from a magical source so pure and evil that the very nature of its existence is tainting non-aligned things around it, mundane things.
We did experience that when we had it in like a pocket dimension, and it was not.
It extends even beyond a lich or an archlich. this is the hands of a demigod, at least. Whatever has placed this curse upon this scroll is ancient and extremely powerful. How do you all react to that news? Anything? Anything you want to say?
We mentioned this was related to Thazadun, right?
Yeah, I did. How, I guess, how would something like this just, like, exist in the world? Like, we found it in, like, a corrupted town, but, like...
The short answer is it doesn't just exist. It's created
Right.
and placed.
Yeah, like, I felt like there must have been, like, it must have been put there, like, on purpose. I don't think that...
Let me make a roll for him. The fact that you brought this to a great knowledge seeker and acquirer and he's still a little lost is quite concerning to you. But you gather through his next bit of information that maybe there is a way out of this. It will take me some considerable time to figure out a way through this curse. I'm happy to take this on as it is partially my duty as the keeper of these grounds. However, I would caution you, all of you, if you plan on traveling through any interplanar means, now or in the future, to watch yourself, for this kind of dark magic is a blip on the radar of any of those that seek to find it. And oftentimes the boundaries between planes and worlds, those are the easiest ones to breach.
Noted.
Good to know.
And by all means, please find a holy place like this and worship at it for at least a little while. Bring the karmic scales back in your favor quite a little bit.
How... Is there anything you need from us while you're working on...
I ask that if you find
Oh.
such items again, you bring them here or anywhere else you find. He'll say, I can illuminate these locations for you, should you wish.
That actually answers my next question because I had something else I was carrying around and to pull out the skull of Malborn of Avernus.
Nice. As you pull out the skull and hand it to him, your hand touches his sort of ephemeral form, which in this case is actually solid. And do you choose to fail the save?
Oh yeah. Let's see what happens.
Okay, Iris.
That's always fun.
You are granted complete knowledge of every location of temples of Ioun on Caldrone.
Oh shit.
Oh,
Nice.
Wait.
That's
He
pretty dope.
has effectively imparted a memory into you, into your solid state drive.
Hey, that's easy to access.
And then he will take the skull and ask, and this? Would you like me to remove this curse as well?
I don't plan on utilizing it.
This is a much more mundane magic comparatively, I will say. You had these in the same dimension?
It was the safest place we could carry them.
I'm not one to question your means, but in the future, it might be wise to not co-locate these dark objects. I don't quite understand what I'm dealing with yet. Once I do, I will contact you and let you know just how lucky you may have been. But from what I gather, what you have bestowed upon me, not in the form of the skull, but the scroll, has ramifications I can only ponder about. And I'm glad it's in our hands and not the hands of really anyone else. Ioun will ensure I have the guidance needed to take this scroll out of the question. I suppose we owe you a little bit of a debt. So, in that way, I will be willing to answer one question you may have. And choose wisely.
One question total, or like one question a person?
Smart man to ask the constraints. One total.
I'm
And
glad you're
just to
not
be
a genie
clear,
because
that
that's
wasn't
a
the
question in
question.
and of itself.
Yeah.
All right, our deal is done.
Shit, loophole.
It's a trick. You failed it. But
One
choose
question
wisely.
total.
I mean, I know what I would want to ask, but that's very personal and would not benefit any of you. So,
My question would also be very personal.
I'll give you
Yeah.
some time. Deliberate amongst yourselves while I continue to inspect this box of doom.
I feel like we all kind of have some very personal questions. to
right.
ask. I don't know. And is there a question that relates to the mission at large that would benefit everyone, or do we want to just Boulder Parchment shears this to figure out who gets to ask?
Oh. I mean, we could ask about the dragon and the water and that whole situation.
Well,
That's not a bad idea.
what would we ask? Just like, what's the deal with the dragon?
Yeah, how how vague can the question be? I'll turn back to the...
Is this your
Back.
question?
No.
I'm only kidding. It's just fun to see everyone writhe when I ask it. Well, the more specific the question, the more specific the answer.
Okay, that makes sense. What if we asked, and this isn't the question,
No.
but I'm posing this to the party. What if we asked, who is behind, or not who is behind, but like, why is the water being redirected to the Deepwater River?
Mm.
This is the best part of DMing. Oh, I love it.
It feels weak compared to what we
Alright.
could ask.
What about you? Didn't you say that? Was it you or was it me?
There's a the other thing I got was that there's a tunnel in the Cinder
Well, no,
Peaks.
I was gonna say, didn't one of the stories like rumors about the Black Rock Quarry?
Yeah, but we know what that's about.
Right, but if there's like a whistleblower, wouldn't it be good to know?
Oh, who's the whistleblower?
You,
Would it
you,
be good
you
to
immediately
know?
enter Black Rock Quarry. I know what you've done. What's your
That's-
proof? This old guy told me.
This old projection who talks to the god of
The
knowledge.
god,
In a vision.
the god Ayun herself told me, bitch.
Thank God. This old dude from in a weird temple.
That would actually be so baller. I'm super down to ask that.
That's actually a pretty good question.
Right, well, because only reason, like, if it's someone within the organization,
Yeah, we
You
need
know,
to know that.
so that way we could keep certain information away from them. Otherwise, like, maybe it gets out.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, no, I'm all in on that.
all right, Therathari, are you okay with that?
You've convinced me.
All right. Casimir, I think we've settled on our question.
Okay.
We
What is
learned
it?
earlier today about a story from the Johnsburg news caller, basically detailing a quarry that has to do with the Shikumu Empire and the Guanji Mountains.
Yes.
That there was a mine found there. That was supposed to be very secretive and proprietary knowledge. So we would like to know who it was that leaked that information to kind of start these rumors to the public.
Edward Snowden. No, all right. He steps forward, closes his eyes. His astral
that was
form projection shimmers,
Specific enough.
and you see the eyes of the Sphinx glow a bright yellow, as do his. Now that he opens them, kind of raises his arms, takes a big deep breath in, and the eyes slowly start to dim back to his normal gray color, and the statue becomes just another statue. And he says, he looks at you, the one you seek, which spills this information, goes by the name Elohandra Virola.
Elohandra Virola.
Virola.
Casimir, what is the winning $1 billion Powerball numbers for tomorrow? Or for
That
tonight,
question, unfortunately, comes at a cost. Exactly equivalent to the Powerball winning.
rather?
Does anyone recognize that name?
Yeah, I'm searching it.
I would have to look.
You might
I
have
might have
spelled it wrong.
misspelled it in my
Yes.
notes. Yeah, that's the thing. Wait, what? It's Virola?
The question is, can you misspell it the same way?
Oh, I got it.
Okay.
There's an expositor working in the Black Rock Quarry. Her name is Elohandra Virola. 3 years ago, they heard of disturbances.
Oh, is she our contact?
it's
that we're
it's who
supposed to
we're
meet?
supposed to meet. Yeah.
And okay, explain the ramifications of this.
You want me to just read this whole paragraph?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, go for it. Hit it.
Three years ago, they heard of disturbances in caves nearby, goblins and such. Elohandra initially went to deal with that. When they got there, they started excavating and searching the area. Upon doing this, they found a deposit of whitestone that was previously only thought to be in Taldore, the city of Whitestone. Whitestone passes through hands in Caldrone, but there's never been a deposit found outside of Taldore, so Elohandra's mission changed to studying the deposit and the conditions in which it can grow. This deposit has severe economic and political implications, so it has been kept secret. A member of the Taldore Council from Aten has been helping oversee the situation, so the Taldore Council is aware. Otherwise, it has been kept extremely hush-hush. Elohandra has requested another expositor to help with the ongoing studies, and that's where we come in.
Okay, and it's just been revealed that Alejandra.
Is the whistleblower.
Okay.
Elohandra.
The
Sure.
plot thickens. This is
Why
a
would
great
she
use of the
request help
question.
if she wants this secret to get out? That makes no sense, but it's...
That's a secret for us to uncover.
I'm afraid the answers you seek come at a cost.
What is this cost? Is it just like a few gold or donation?
I think the cost is just knowing it.
Money is not one of the callings of Ioun. An idea for an idea. An experience for an experience. This is how things are equal, and how knowledge is shared. So you gather, through that riddled statement, you brought him something he's never seen before, and therefore have earned something you don't know.
Sweet.
An idea for an idea.
I have a
Well, we also
Request.
brought Iris. Do you know what she is? Does she count?
I do, and the questions you seek answers to come at a cost.
Oh, I was going to ask if you probed my memories for things you've never seen before, would that be requisite payment?
There are likely things in there I have not seen, but of value, that is the question. I've seen your past, your future, your present. I see no reason to conduct such an experiment,
Oh, okay.
especially at the expense of your own sanity.
Oh, right. Do you have the means of restoring my memory?
Not entirely, no. This is something that is... And he'll reach out. Do you choose to fail?
Sure.
Okay, he's going to cast Detect Thoughts. And he'll just tell you, all I can glean from your inner psyche is something there is blocking it, fighting to keep things hidden. It appears to be of your best interest to find these answers yourself. For knowledge is power, but in some cases can be our demise.
Okay.
Maybe she has a good motive for this. Maybe, I don't know. I don't want to
I'm-
instantly write her off.
I'm mostly wondering. That's a good point, actually. Maybe there is a reason she's mentioning that. I was going to say I'm starting to wonder what my mental block is in the first place.
Yeah.
Is it divine, or psychic, or psionic?
It seems to be a mix of everything. Something has really wedged itself into you and does not want to get free. It has tried every possibility it can think of to remain hidden, and the secrets it keeps along with it.
Okay, I got a weird question because I don't think Iris has ever thought to do this. I cast Detect Magic to try and help figure out what spell the Tabaxi was casting. Can I try to use that running Detect Magic to hone down on my mental block?
You can try. Absolutely.
I'm more than happy to.
It will be very difficult, but you can try. For this, I know Detect Magic is sort of is it on? Yes. Okay, you know everything. But I want to invite you to make your choice of an Arcana check or an Insight check on yourself.
I think Arcana makes the most sense here. He mentioned that it's a mix of a number of different magics, so to Iris, it's now a puzzle of trying to unravel all of that, figuring out where it starts, and then trying to figure out where we can begin to undo a knot.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I'm gonna throw Flash of Genius on that as well. I don't think it'll get me high enough to a DC, but that does get me to a 24 total.
Okay, a 24 Arcana check. So it makes sense that whatever is in your mind is a cobweb of many different things neatly put together to make a very difficult to unravel and ascertain beast that is blocking your inner psyche from expressing itself. And one of the things that comes to you, because that is a high roll, there has to be, you've had this same memory in your dreams, extended versions of it, but the same memory from the same time in the same place. There's got to be something about that. Whether or not you need to experience that memory more, or if you need to analyze that memory as it stands now, something about that memory is important because it's recurring. And you recall, when experiencing more of it and the trauma that it brings, you are becoming humanoid. So maybe not quite the magical answer you want, but whatever is there is really trying to stay hidden.
It's a direction. She'll take a direction.
Well, I thank you for your travels and your bravery to bring this item forward and to share it with me. I trust the answers you've sought have brought comfort to you. Should you need any other answers, you now know my locations.
Well, we
Right.
thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, I would. You said you're going to contact us once you know more, I would appreciate that. I'm
Indeed.
interested.
The debt is
And-
not paid until the knowledge is shared, so I will indeed share what I find.
And Casimir, will it be you at these other locations as well? Like, are you the keeper of all of the?
My form? No. We all are of the same mind. And you'll see one of us. At the very
I see.
least. Not in body, but in form. And spirit. He'll grab onto the box, and along with himself, the box will kind of dissipate.
Do you take the skull too, or do you?
Yeah, he took the skull. With newly acquired knowledge and the ability to peruse bookshelves if you want.
Yeah, Jar is definitely gonna cruise.
All right,
Oh yeah, I'm totally looking.
sure.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
What's very interesting about this arrangement of books is the questions you have inform the books in front of you. So you kind of seek to find whatever knowledge you're seeking will make itself present. You get that that's part of the allure of Ayun and the rewards you get for beating the puzzle upstairs, perhaps, along with the rest of this encounter. So I will ask you, I guess we'll start with Felix. What kind of answers are you seeking?
Hold on. Do I still have that open? Yes, I do. I guess I do want to know more about whatever's going on with the water. So maybe I'll look, or I guess, how does this work? Do I just kind of think of what I want to know?
No, so you'll each get one inquiry. So form a question that you'd like answered, and the books will reveal the answer.
Okay. What is happening to all the water in this region? The bodies of water in this region.
Okay. Roll me a D100.
Oh. $47.
Okay. With a 47, you check out a book which is untitled, and as you start opening the book, the pages start to fill themselves in with the information you've requested. So your general question of what is happening to the water in this region yields the answer, factoring in a 47 chance. The water is indeed being redirected, and strangely enough, it seems to be redirected upstream in some cases and downstream in others. It's almost across the board always fresh water, specifically water that originates as runoff from mountains.
Interesting. Okay.
Jar
that-
was right.
The why there, or like the why is not present because you only asked a what.
I did ask what, yeah.
But that is the what.
Okay. I'm satisfied.
All right, Jara, what is your question and roll?
Right. Do I get the sense that the limitation that there are like limitations on this? Like, is it literally has to be it's like something that would be written in a book, or could it be literally like anything?
What is an example of something that's not written in a book or can't be written in a book?
But like I mean,
Personal
like
question.
yeah, if it's like something
No,
about
no,
me,
this isn't like indexing you into actual literature. This is manifesting the collective knowledge of Ayun, her temples, her people.
Okay, so it's okay. So it literally
Oh,
okay. So it
I didn't
literally
know
could
that.
be anything.
Oh, damn.
Oh shit.
If you would
Ooh.
like your question to be private to you, let me know and I'll tell everyone to deafen.
I might.
Keep in mind, the harder the question, the lower the chances you'll get an answer.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Ooh, I don't remember how far I went with my.
And I will invite everyone else to think of their question as well while Jara is contemplating.
All right. Yeah. No. I want people to deafen for this one.
All right, so can you all deafen? And I'll message when we're ready.
All right. So I want to. My question is basically like how close to the right track am I with my whole theory that I got going on, like, about this weapon of mass destruction off the coast, about this impending war, about the Great Reckoning. Am I even in the right ballpark?
The answer you get back essentially is...
Oh, do you want me to roll?
Yeah, roll.
Not great. I got a 27.
Okay, it's actually not bad on this.
Oh, okay.
The general answer you get is definitely strong towards impending war.
Okay.
And weather seems to be a large side effect of something more nefarious going on.
Okay.
The big thing that you get from the readings is your placement of blame and culpability is not quite correct.
Okay.
For the sheer fact that the individuals or establishments you've placed blame on are not acting alone.
Okay. Interesting.
Okay, that is all you get. Okay. We will go to Iris.
Okay. I think following along with the idea that this same particular memory that recurs with each of these visions is a point of information. I'm trying to think how best to word the query she's trying to solve. I think at some point there was also mention in one of these these chains of memories that there was charges set for something, and something got dropped out of a pod.
Hey, I just undeafened. Sorry, I didn't get a notification for some reason.
No, you're good.
We're going through Iris's question.
I feel
Okay.
like, as a curiosity, because I don't think she ever stopped to ask what it was. The ruin she came out of, what were they studying?
That's your question. Okay. Roll a d100.
Do you want us to deafen, Paul, or are we good?
No, this could be relatively public. 84.
Okay. Let me check my table. Okay. Very close to a crit.
Woo!
But not quite. So, what were they studying? In the ruins or in the thing that was ruined?
I'm gonna say that because that ruin is probably relatively accessible, she'd want to know what in the thing that was ruined were they studying.
Sure. So, the ruins, as you recall, were in a snowy place, a frost-covered place. You were thawed out, essentially. The what were they studying? The individuals in that laboratory were studying a way to transcend the material plane, past the divine gates, into godhood. And they were studying this in various forms, one of which is through projection of mind, body, and soul, and you gather the laboratory that went down in particular was studying the body aspect. The mind aspect. And they started with constructs. Can I transfer my consciousness into a being? That is the what.
Huh. Okay, curious.
All right. Therathari, what is your inquiry?
Territories inquiry. And actually, before I say this, let me clarify again. Can it be like a present day iota of information, or does it have to be historical?
It can be anything, and it's served through the collective knowledge of those present and past.
Okay. So Therathari wants to know who among archive members is the one with the greatest connection to the synod.
Okay. So among the members of the high members of the archive, this is only members of the archive, not who is the closest connection to the synod, correct?
Right.
Okay. Who is from the synod? Let me pull up that information for you. Okay.
Therathari's going to have his own conspiracy board soon.
Well, he this is like this
I have
is
some
a throwback
pointers.
conspiracy, like a real throwback.
I have
But-
some pointers on how to organize it if you would like.
Okay.
Okay. Do you remember the name of an archivist named Vlad? Yeah.
I remember.
Did he
Vlad.
die?
I
Yeah,
remember the
Vlad
name,
died.
but not.
We were in his lab.
Yeah, he's dead.
Oh, that
Vlad,
guy.
because your question was who, doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily denote currently living.
True.
He had the closest connection to Order Petfer.
Okay.
Second, followed closely by a high scepter called Clenor, who is the herald of the Needlepoint Archive. Needlepoint is... You haven't been there, but he's the second. His connections are not to Petfer, but to... I will pull the name up for you. One sec. Tura. A lot of people in Tura.
Giving myself some homework with this one.
Okay, hold on. I can't find his name. Why can't I find
And yeah, Dan, if you want to bust out the red yarn and push pins, be my
I like
guest.
where this is going. Also,
I don't need to bust it out. Jar already he always has it on hand.
Okay.
hold on. I have to. All right, if I can find it in the next 30 seconds.
Yeah,
I'll
no
just
worries.
message you.
No worries.
But I think I have their names here. Should. Synod. All right, I'll message you.
Yep.
I have their names. This is the problem when you ask anyone they can ask anything. You gotta dig, baby.
Searching files.
Yeah, really. It's indexing. Yeah, I'll message you as soon as I'll look it up as soon as we stop playing tonight. You'll get that information. And if
All
you
right.
want, I can message it to the rest of the group. That's up to you.
Yeah.
Okay. But yes, Vlad was the closest. And for those that don't remember, he was the archivist. I think originally in the whole mystery, you had pegged him as the guy, but he was dead. And his office was vacated when you visited the archive.
Oh, I do remember that.
Well, you weren't there, but you helped write it.
Yeah.
Okay. With that, all of your questions have expired, or chances to ask, and you're free to leave if you'd like. You were always free to leave, technically, but I guess now you have no reason to stay.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, what time of day is it?
I would say in there you probably spent maybe 2 hours to an hour and a half. Hour and a half, 2 hours. So if you want, you can take up camp here because it is, approaching the late evening and still have plenty of time to make it to the Grove the next day. Or you can make a little bit more headway and camp sort of in the wilderness a little bit more. Up to you guys.
I think camping in the safety of Ioun's a bad idea.
I was going to say, if we're going to camp anywhere, camping next to a temple is a pretty good spot.
Yeah, this seems like a pretty And you said we'll have plenty of time to get to the Grove tomorrow.
Yeah, you'll make it, no problem.
Yeah.
Cool.
If you have no other stops.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'd say this is possibly our most successful excursion to an old abandoned building
Yeah.
as ever we've had.
I
think
would
you're
have
right.
to agree.
I think I would agree with that. Yeah, good job, team. And we got rid of the evil world corrupting scroll.
Yeah, that's off our hands. We don't have to worry about it anymore. Iris, how does it feel?
Iris is going to pop out her eye and look into the space of the chest of holding. How corrupted does it look in there?
Make an Arcana check.
Well, it has been in a protective sealed
has been.
case for a while, so
10.
From your gathering, the corruption has subsided slightly, but definitely has not gotten more corrupt.
Well, it's going to take some time for my storage to go back to normal, but I think this is a step in the right direction.
all right, nice.
And I imagine we all learned more of the things we wanted to in there.
Definitely. Yeah, I think this Alejandra thing is a big deal, but I really want to give her the benefit of the doubt.
I don't believe we go in there. Guns blazing is the term, I think.
Yeah. No, I think we should play it cool.
Yeah, but I think it's definitely good information to know.
Yeah. And I want to see what kind of person she is, or if she presents to us as something that maybe she isn't really. I just want to kind of get a feel for whether we can trust her or not. But if we get a good vibe check on her, for lack of a better word, I think we should confront her about it first, and straight up ask, why did you do this?
I think I'm on board with that.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I mean, she might have a reason that's worth hearing.
What would be a good reason for I think maybe if the government wanted to do something
Yeah, I don't know if
bad
it,
with it.
Yeah, if it needs to get out.
I have no idea about anything on Taldore. Is there a good reason why Whitestone is monopolized?
I think it's just mainly only found there.
Is that a good thing for this world?
No.
I don't
would-
know.
I guess if you're talking really big picture, then no, it would be better, I guess, to have it accessible in more places.
Iris discovers communism.
Our Whitestone!
Comrade Iris.
Iris Marks. I love it.
Iris the pirate mercenary communist. I imagine that's one such reason for revealing its location.
Right. I think the issue, though, in like a smaller scope would be that it's going to cause a lot of conflict in this region. I mean, that could be devastating in the short term.
Because that's a resource that people would fight over.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of money in it.
But if you know that it's going to be used for something nefarious, I could see wanting it to be out there, that it exists at least, to maybe prevent that nefarious use.
For sure. For sure.
It's
So yeah.
good to have ideas. I'm wondering which one will be right when we talk to her.
Me too. We'll see.
I do recall from. Oh, go on, Tony.
I wasn't gonna. I was just breathing.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say something and cut you off.
No.
I do recall there was a discussion of Therathari casting Sending to Tenley.
Oh yes.
I don't know if
Yep.
you've prepared that or if you would like to fast forward to the next morning to send something, but I think it would be wise to send it now so I can talk with Paul offline about what Tenley's response may be.
Yeah, okay. So I don't remember fully what words Therathari was trying to send to her. I think it might have been about this meeting in the Grove, but I don't remember if anyone can.
I
fill in
believe
there.
it was about
Yes, it was.
that meeting.
The idea was part of the whole point of Paul going to this meeting was to try and share some more information because he hasn't yet revealed those papers. He wasn't going to reveal them, but
Okay, right.
he wanted to leverage the fact that other people have come in and are now potentially losing faith in the hold that the Synod has, and to see how people react. And so part of the legitimization, I think, of those claims would, and your guys' plan would be to come from the top as well. Maybe I'm misremembering. I'm pretty sure that was it. And you were going to use Tenley or the King, or Q, I think was even on the cards, to do that talking for you.
Okay, how many words do we get?
I think 25,
25?
unless you want a double blaster.
What do you think? How much conspiracy should be in this? Or should it be more informational and let her figure it out?
Tenley's a smart, well-connected person. I think she's capable of reading between the lines if you're just worried about, like, not having enough space to include everything.
I guess it's more like, do we want to send her on a path or leave her skills of investigation to do something?
What if we let her know about the existence of this green dragon and have her figure out like why it hasn't been reported further up the hierarchy?
Like, is there a barrier? Is there someone who's
Right.
snuffing it out? Right. Okay.
We've discovered this green dragon plaguing this area. Local leaders have tried to bring it to the attention of the capital, and nothing's been coming of it. Why is this happening? Maybe she could shake some trees and figure that out.
I would also,
Yeah.
I mean, if you send it right now, you have less than 24 hours for her to answer. That's something I would say. Just so you don't waste a spell.
Okay.
But we also might want her to just independently investigate what's
Totally.
going on.
I'm not trying to
beyond
discourage
next
you.
day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally valid.
All right. Let me pull up word.
Well, then maybe it's something like we have her investigate, and then maybe we could, if she could get us some support to like take care of this issue, then we could bring that support to the meeting tomorrow. Like that, gaining support to like tackle the issue is something actionable she could accomplish within like a day. But then figuring out, why is there even a block first place could be something more long term.
Yeah, getting like big names aware of this and caring about this, I think, is like the priority for the next 24 hours at least.
Right. Just getting more eyes on it.
Yeah.
Because then we could say, hey, this has been brought to the attention of so and so, and he is very passionate about, figuring this issue out, and we could bring that to the meeting, and then that gives some more weight to what we're saying.
Out of character, LOL. Us thinking bureaucracy is going to fix anything.
Tenley, go to the
We're like preparing
bureaucracy.
for the meeting, like with with our points.
Maybe it can if you are the bureaucracy, which you can
Maybe.
argue Tenley is. Tenley's actually on a conquest to spread communism too. The king is dead. Long live the Union.
Long live Tenley.
While Therathari is drafting that, which is no small feat, I would like to say two things.
Mhm.
For next session, as a sort of meta conversation, so I am planning on having Paul prepare something, but Paul as in the character Paul, not Paul. Paul will definitely prepare something for Tenley, but Paul, NPC Paul, will also be preparing something to take to the synod, not the synod, but the chapter meeting. If anyone would like to brainstorm and come up with suggestions, Paul will definitely seek your help, and if your suggestions are good, I will reward them in kind with favors. Depending on your contribution, that will be determined on what rewards you get. But I would like to invite you to brainstorm between now and when we play next, possible things that Paul can use as justification. I think it's a good exercise maybe to remind us of what's happened, but also to get some cool stuff.
Yeah. Cool.
But totally optional. And then, the second thing is, Paul, I will be talking to you about Tenley
Word.
Real Paul.
and the happenings in Tura. Okay, not to
we were
put the
calling-
pressure on you. Yeah, go on, Tony.
I think to make the distinction, we were calling the priest Paulie, and I think he didn't like that.
Yeah, I don't think he liked it. Yeah, Paulie. I'll remember. DJ Paulie.
DJ Pauly first.
All right. Are you workshopping Therathori? What are you thinking?
I have one more sentence to craft, and then I'm ready.
All right, you watch as Therathori is writing in his notebook furiously. Trying to come up with 25. This is like the most fun spell because it really makes you like
Sending is so much fun.
think about
Yeah.
what you're going to say. And then I have to think, by I mean Paul has to think about what he has to say.
On a completely different branch of this current time space, if everyone is setting up camp, Iris is going to put her mobile lab back up.
Great, yeah. And if you want, you can try and tinker with your Ezra's eyes.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
She'll actually work on that arcane handheld she's been tinkering with. We're like
Ah.
5 out of 7 we've been working with. The eyes are going to be a separate project,
Of
but
course.
she's close to finishing the magical gun.
You're one of the rare tinkerers that finishes projects before starting new ones. So I commend you. Okay, go ahead and
You've got a limited amount of space to work with.
That's right.
So.
roll your tinkering check. Natural 20
Alright.
gets it for you.
All right. Which skill am I using for this tinkering
So
again?
this is I think we do your arcane check, whatever.
Arcana. Okay.
No, I think it's Arcana plus your proficiency.
I think Arcana already has proficiency
Okay.
involved because I'm proficient in that.
Then I
But I do get a bonus because I'm tuned to those adamantium
yes.
crafting tools.
There you go.
Okay, that's a 22 total.
Okay, you can mark off another success. And what you glean now from this success, you are almost there. The last part is the hardest. And because you rolled well, I'll tell you the DC up front. The next DC is a 24.
That sounds about right.
Wait, Tom, progress? Do we have time for Felix to do something, or are you?
I've got probably the last word or two here.
Go ahead, Felix.
Yeah, so go ahead.
All right. So if we're setting up camp, you said that there's something special about the bark in this area.
Yeah, totally.
Is it like? I know we're in kind of like holy ground. Is it like? Would it be sacrilegious to, like, take some of the bark?
No, I mean, you can even wander off the holy ground necessarily and get bark. Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead, for sure.
Yeah, I would like to take some of the bark and start bashing it with the butt of my my dagger into a fine powder.
Okay, absolutely. I imagine this will be smoked next.
Indeed.
Are you choosing to smoke tonight or save it for another time?
I'll smoke tonight to see the effects,
Okay, first make
and then maybe take some more in the morning.
First, make a nature check. It wouldn't be an episode without some drug usage.
Oh, absolutely. That's something this party has. Yeah, we all have a problem, or at least Iris and I. Nature 14.
Okay, yeah, you gather a good amount, picking what you presume to be good trees, live trees, where the bark seems to be fresh. The scent is not quite cinnamon; it's actually quite peppery, which is interesting. It smells like ground pepper, especially as you're chopping it or smashing it with your knife, the butt of your knife. But you get it into a smokable state, after which you light up. Actually, with that nature check, you are trying. Actually, I'll let you roll an alchemical check to figure out maybe what dosage would be too much.
I'm gonna have a brain blast. Oh no, I'm gonna take too much. Actually, no, I have a pretty high modifier, 10.
Yeah, an even 10. You get a fair amount, which you think is Felix-sized amount, and light it up. All right, Therathari.
I'll be right back.
Yep. Okay, so we have it. Green Dragon and Necrosis found near Leafside. Organization The Syndicate investigated, but no help dispatched after years. Possible cover-up linked to Synod. Haste appreciated.
Okay. Is everyone all right with that message? Any alterations?
Works for me.
That's a great message. Okay. I have the recording, so I'll make sure I get that written down for...
I'll send it to you as well.
Oh, even better. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'll forward that to Paul, and we will discuss offline the results from Tenley in 25 words or less. Is anyone else doing anything during this brief respite before you take another evening? Yeah.
Because we have time.
Yeah.
Because we stopped slightly early. I would like to do some more reading.
Okay. What specifically?
I think I am deep in the second book of the Shikmo books, and I have learned jack shit from it.
It's also denser and less cohesive.
Yeah, I got that. That's about all I've gotten out of it.
Kind of an unreliable narrator, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
Yes, for sure.
for sure. So I would like to keep reading that book to see if I get anything useful out of it, since we're almost near the end of our journey.
Okay. You're almost through it, so like a couple more rolls you got. Let's see what you get.
Straight intelligence.
Yep.
Ooh, finally, I got a dirty 20.
Great. I think, Dan, message me after a session. I think we should maybe work in a homebrew way for you to get bonuses on these book-related checks. Just from your
Sure.
background and studying. Maybe we'll figure out a way to work that in.
He's proficient with books.
Yeah, it feels right. It feels right.
Yeah, I would co-sign that.
I mean, I'll add my proficiency bonus to my
Well,
book
let's...
reading.
Why the haste, Daniel?
24.
So,
23.
an unnatural 20 on this read through the Shikamo book. Okay, so you are nearing the end and at this point, this person, like I mentioned, has lost all sanity. Makes no attempts to hide it. There are certain literal pages in which it's chicken scratch, but you rolled well enough to even make out, and with your goggles of reading languages,
I do, yeah.
you can pick out bits of symbols of celestial, believe it or not, in this book. Somehow this guy has formed celestial lettering, and when you piece them together, it's almost like a cipher of some kind. I need you to roll me an intelligence check. You have advantage because you rolled and discovered the cipher.
Right. Oh, thank God. First one was a 4. Second one, almost symbolically of the number 4. My 4th nat 20 of the night.
Oh
Wow.
my god.
Okay. It's really good.
420, dude.
Because
Yeah, 420. That's a 420 roll.
while Felix is smoking, the fumes cover you. It's really good
see
you
the
rolled
words.
well because the rest of the book is written in code.
Oh my god.
So, you have the cipher. It takes you a lot longer to work through these because you have to decode them. But with a natural 20, the paranoia shifts from that of feeling like an outsider who is battling much of his own demons to that of he feels like he's being targeted explicitly by some individuals in Shikumo or wherever he's... I don't think he's ever explicitly said where he is. And that doesn't change, unfortunately, for you. But he's been poking his head around, trying to find answers to questions he's posed earlier in the book, specifically around the physiology of these people, why things are so secret. And it seems like, in his mind, he's being met with silence, an intentional silencing that's so extreme that he feels his life is in danger. And so now he's in an extreme state of paranoia. And he keeps getting these dreams, these very strong dreams of voices, like hundreds of whispers and voices, but they're saying things that he's having trouble ascertaining. And so the next part of the book is strings of the voices he's hearing, which now have crept into the day, not just at night during his dreams. I'll ask for one more intelligence check with advantage. I lowered the DC because you nat 20'd. You're now in the mind of an insane man, Daniel. Can you figure it out?
Juro might just be insane enough.
Unfortunately, I cannot because I rolled a 2 twice, so that's a 3.
All right. The strings are unintelligible, but there seems to be a repetition of a name that, for some reason, seems to stick with this guy for quite a few pages. The name is that... I'll send it to you and say it. The name is Quazak. With a Q. Quazak. And it's just Quazak. There's also, in some cases, it's Quazak. In other cases, it's The Chosen. But those are what you gather from the unintelligible strings of whispers. Other stuff is just like random stuff, like. But these are things that stick out to you.
All right. In terms of what's left of the book, is that pretty much it, or is there still?
I mean, skimming through the pages, it's all the same kind of strings of random letters. You have one more check if you'd like to use it next time to maybe get more information, but you have the
Okay.
bulk.
Yeah, I'll give it one more later. We still have another night in the road.
All right, anyone else want to do anything before the night ends and you head towards the grove?
What effects do I feel?
Oh, thank you. I completely forgot. Yeah, that's kind of important. So you feel a strong sense of presence, as though like you're ever present in the situation, very cognitively aware. Your ability to feel emotions is heightened. You can empathize extremely well. You like laugh at, when people laugh. You just feel the emotions of the room. But on top of that, there's a moment of clarity, especially when you start coming down from the high, in which the heightened emotions give way to heightened intelligence. And this would be a time for maybe some introspection to be done. and questioning of oneself, and maybe experiences you've had that maybe you haven't fully indexed. Meaning you get advantages on those kinds of things, should you choose to do it.
On like self-insight rolls.
Yeah, or history, anything pertaining to yourself and the experiences you've had, and any questions or information you'd like to gain from those experiences that maybe you haven't.
Would I be able to do that now?
Absolutely, if you'd like. In the closing section of session, yeah.
Yeah, just real quick. The first thing that came to mind was that like vision that I had of the men talking about the broker or something, or like talking about Kona.
Okay.
And I know there was like one person who like I couldn't identify, and it was still a little bit, I don't know, unclear as to exactly what was going on there. Do I get any more clarity into that? Or I don't even know, is that something that I've experienced, or was that a memory that I forget how I was given that vision?
That was a vision granted to you, yes. And you can absolutely roll. You can choose history, you can choose insight, whatever you want.
I'll do history. Oh my god. Maybe my fourth 8 of the night.
Okay, so what kind of information do you want specifically?
I guess, I mean, am I able to glean information that I straight up wouldn't know? Like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like, new information that wouldn't come from, like, myself?
Yeah, you can absolutely, this would be the time to do it. It's more like information, it's something that you would have maybe sensed or felt in the moment that you don't have in long-term storage easily retrievable, that maybe this will allow the inhibitions
okay.
of.
Yeah, so maybe then, like, thinking back on, I guess, everything, do I recognize that third person? Because there was, like, a third person who I think you just described as, like, a fat man. I think that...
Yes, he indeed was a fat man. You don't know his name, and unfortunately, with an 8, you definitely don't recollect his name. But you do know him from another memory, or maybe set of memories. He is a very powerful merchant that is native to Karth.
Okay.
And he owns one of the largest potion export businesses in Karth.
Gotcha.
Export and import, I guess you could say. But he works directly with the pharmacist. That's
Gotcha.
how... And I say directly, he doesn't know the identity of, but he is next in the rung.
Right.
So he's pretty powerful.
Good to know.
All right. I also teased here the Grove for next session. This is not a dried river, unfortunately, this time. This is literally a man-made trench separating the two sides of the Grove, and you'll find out why that exists next time.
Well, the lower certainly doesn't inspire any confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed. All right. Thank
All
you all. Have a wonderful week. I'll be in touch, Paul.
All right. Catch you later, y'all.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Take care. See you.